Hi there guys, this is Farmer Bob. Welcome back to my channel. Great to be back on the wild. My latest map, and I'm at this moment the guys are busy testing and playing the map to see for all the problems that there might be, and also my Patreons is enjoying it a week beforehand, so yeah, great stuff. I thought I'll jump in and do a bit of playing myself and some testing myself, and in the same process also make a nice little video to whet in your appetite, and just show you what has changed since my first video of the other day, and then also just have a look at how to play the wild. That's a very important thing, is how to play it. There is some tips and things, but yeah, it's mostly for enjoyment. So let's get stuck in with that. Right, so the first thing that I've done is I've reworked all the pricing of the land on the farmland. On the edges of the map, most of the farm property on the edges is cheaper than the lower ones on the hillsides, and then these flat areas in the center of the map is the prime property. So those are very expensive to buy. Like for instance, this one, if you buy it, it's 1.1 million for that one. There's a cheapie, and I think this is also a cheapie. So there is some options for you to start small in the prime flat surfaces, but most of them is quite pricey. And then here by the sides next to the lake, they're also nice and pricey to buy. Small properties, but they're very pricey indeed. And then obviously if you buy bigger lands, the price will be bigger, obviously. And then here on the sides, for instance, there's a nice one to start with, but the land is very steep and almost unusable. Same goes for this side. This is more forestry. You'll see I've replanted this whole area with this northern slopes. I've added a few thousand trees to the map. So for the guys that does logging and that, there is some nice logging to do. And the sawmill is here central, so very nice. So you can easily cart stuff to the sawmill. Great. So that's the changes on the farmland. Just to make the map a bit more realistic, more difficult in the hard modes to start with nothing, and then also more realistic with the prime property being much more expensive, So good. So first things first, let's buy ourselves a piece of land and start playing. Great, man. It's a blessing in disguise. I didn't really plan it like this, but this property that I'm standing on at the moment, if you look at this piece of land, it hugs the edge, and it's a very nice piece of field, and it's only 95,000. So I think we're going to go for that and buy that and start our endeavor here right on the top of the hills, overlooking the lake and the valley. So yeah, I think that's a good move. Great, so we've bought that now, and I'm playing in hard mode, guys. So obviously there is nothing in your garage. If you go into your garage, it is as empty as can be, or it should be. There are no items. Okay, owned items. So that is basically, we left with $400,000 to buy equipment and start farming. Great. So naturally, the first thing one would normally look at, obviously, is to saw down some trees and log them down to the sawmill, because trees is very valuable, especially if they're straight and long. Long pieces that are straight and big pieces are normally nice and valuable, and you can easily make a lot of money. So let us do two scenarios. I'm going to start by logging some trees, just cutting them down, and then we'll go from there and see what happens. Right, guys. So obviously our first thing is, you'll notice that I've covered all the roads. The roads are now soil, not grass anymore. And then there is some challenges to actually make the roads accessible. You'll find that there's some parts that are very inaccessible. There's some holes in the ground that you'll need to fill to make the roads usable. You can obviously drive around it, but the other farmers might think you are a naughty boy or not very good neighbor if you drive over their property, especially with tractors and stuff. They make deep tracks into the ground, and you'll see the roads are rough, so it's not smooth riding. It is the wild, so it is wild roads to travel with. And obviously I've put trees over the road in spots. There's big deep holes that you can't drive over that you'll need to fill. The idea that I want to try, I'm actually now going in the wrong direction. The idea that I want to try is when you plow your fields, you collect all the rocks in your trailers and then you dump them into the holes in the road to fix up the road. So that's basically the idea that I want to check and see if it is workable, you know. So where am I? Okay, so I can go straight down here, and this here is the train station. You can have goods delivered here to the train station, obviously. I don't think you can buy, but you'll have to buy and drive your vehicles and that from the store. If you use the what do you call it, that not the place anywhere, but that store, the store mod, you can put your store here to be a bit more realistic and have your vehicles delivered to the train station. So that will be a bit of a realistic play, unless you want to jippo and do it the wrong way and have it delivered to your farm. You can even do that, but it costs you money, guys. That's the thing with that store mod. It's realistic, the delivery mod, because it costs you money to deliver your vehicles. So yeah, it all works for the good. Depends on how you want to play it. You know, do you want to be realistic? But mind you, with that mod, you can't be unrealistic because you're going to pay for it to be delivered. Good stuff. All right, so let's run down straight here. I'm just taking you with me for a stroll. And have a quick look. I know there is quite a bit of. I didn't do too much damage to the road, so most of it is drivable. You'll have to drive slow, but I didn't put too many trees and logs and things over the road and too many holes, because you don't want to, you know, make it unbearable. You want guys to have fun. Have fun with the game, man. Okay, here we go. We can go straight down here to the road. You'll see now what I mean. Just want to get to one of these spots. Here's places where the trees has fallen over. So these trees you're gonna have to. You can jippo and push them out of the way with your tractor, probably, but you're probably gonna need to buy a chainsaw and cut them out of the way. Make way for your vehicles to pass by. And then I think around the bend here, yeah, here's some places where the holes are, you know. There's some deep holes. You're going to have to fill them with rocks. Oh wait, if I fall in there, I might not come out again. It's a deep hole. I didn't realize on the editor you can't really see how deep they are, but now in real life, oh my word, they are deep. So yeah, you're going to fill them with something so you can drive over them. That's far, just sort of a little bit of making it a bit more wild, you know, to access this side of the map and get access. Great. Okay, we've had a good look around now. You'll see on that site, you can have a look now. There's lots and lots more trees, so I've added thousands of trees to the map for the guys that wants to do logging and enjoy that. Great. Right guys, I've decided to have the vehicles delivered here to the farm, and I'm going to show you just how much it costs from the harbor or the store or the shop down at the harbor, how much it costs to actually deliver your vehicle. So let's jump in. I'm going to go for small tractors because our money is not a lot, so I'm going to see what there is. Here's a Ferguson 265. It's a mod for 40 grand, and it is a 37 horsepower. That is a tiny tractor. And what is the speed on that? 37 kilowatts, sorry, 65 horsepower. It's probably about 40 kilowatts, maybe 35, 40 kilowatts. So the 265, if we go for that, you're going to save a lot of money. It's slow at the end of the day, but at least you can you just see what a bigger Ferguson cost. This boy is 82 to 100, but it's like 50 grand. And it's much faster, well, much faster, a few Ks faster. What's this one? 105. Maybe you should go for the Fendt. Fendt is the old favorite, but it's like 76 grand already. Let me decide on a tractor. Right, guys, after having a look at even the second-hand vehicles, if you look at the second-hand vehicles, there's nothing there in tractors that is going to be feasible with our amount of income or balance in the bank. So I'm going to go for this. It's a mod, 97,000, and what's nice is you can upgrade it later on. We need currently at least 170 horsepower, so let's go for that. Buy that Oki and get him to the farm. So that is it there. So total price 97,000. It's got everything we need to start with. So I'm going to buy it, and you're going to now see what it costs to deliver. Okay, so let's have a check. Delivery cost $2,400. By the looks of it. And there it is. We've got our own tractor. They've delivered it here to the farm. And I think what we need to buy as well, to start with, obviously, I wanted to do some logging. But first of all, let us just get a field plowed, because in the wild there's no fields, so you have to plow your own fields with your own hands first. I've had a look. That's something strange. Maybe you guys can help me, right? But I do not see for courseplay. I do not. There's nowhere in courseplay that I can see a. I probably have to enter the tractor for courseplay. There's no way in courseplay where I can see a way to make a like in the old days, an outline, a border or an edge. To drive an edge and make a circle and then use that as a field area and then create. I've just looked around. There is no place for that. I haven't found any of that. So yeah, the only way to do is then obviously to plow your own field with a tractor and then use the worker afterwards. Once you've plowed a field, the workers will see that field as a field. So that's basically how we're going to have to roll for now. Great, so plows, I'm going to go for this chisel. It's also a mod, very nice 13 chisel, and it's 5.7 meters wide. So that's ideal for bashing the bush and making new fields. So I'm going to buy that, and it's not too expensive. So we're going to go buy, because we're going to use that in future as well. Alright, now to play the wild in hard mode, I just want to make sure our settings is right. You can confirm these with yours too. Autosave is fine. Times connect traffic. We don't have traffic, so you might as well switch that off. The economic difficulty is hard because we're playing hard mode. Seasons is right because you want to play with seasons. Crop and growth, crop destruction on, periodic plowing. You can play without that if you don't like that. Fieldstone must be on because we're going to use that stones hopefully to tip into the holes. So let's see if that works. That's what I want to do first. I want to take the stones, make a plow a field, take the stones and chuck them into the holes and see if it does work. So that's where we're going on with that. So right, everything else looks alright. There's one thing, automatic engine start, I want to switch off. I don't like that. Stop and go braking, whatever. That's alright. Good. So now if I jump out of the vehicle, the engine will not be... I'm just going to set my mouse a little bit more sensitive. Thanks, that's better. And you'll now see what I mean with this these roads that are rough to travel on. You can't drive fast on them because they are rough. Good. Alright, so basically if you look at the farmland, our farm is right all the way along the edge of this road. So if you stay on the inside of the road, that's perfect. So whatever you have seeing here next to the road is our farmland, so you can go wild and plow and go crazy, make fields. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start plowing. I'll give it a little bit of a bash, and then I'll show you guys what I mean. It's probably sad that you can't make an edge. They'll probably still do that or fix it, because this is now the only way that you can make fields, is make them by hand, and then once you've made a field, then you can afterwards set a worker to work for you and carry on. You see, I'm actually happy that we've gone for a stronger tractor, because a small tractor will not have pulled this plow at all. You're going to have to probably go for a 3-meter plow, which is, or a 2.2 meter plow with a smaller tractor. It's going to drive you nuts if you have to run a small plow with that. It will be crazy. I'm going to leave a spot here on this nice flat area for our farmhouse and stuff. So I don't want to use up all our farmland now for field. So I'm going to cut across here. That should be more than enough space for a farmhouse. Good. Right, so I'm gonna stay quiet now. Maybe I'll compress the video a bit. That's the nice thing about the wild, guys, is you have to really do the work yourself. You have to put in the sweat and tears to make it work, and that's what's so nice. I like that. And check this. This tractor is now running uphill, and this slope, it's quite a slope, guys. But obviously when you plow a field like this, you will plow with the lines, or downhill will be probably better. So I'm going to cut across here, because this tractor is just not going to do it. So let's go do that. I love it, because this is like real life, eh? You can't just put a tractor in the ground and plow, guys. There is so many challenges. So you're gonna have to do the sideways. That's the right way to do it, along with the what do you call those lines, man? It's the topographical lines. There's a name for it. I just can't think of it now. Right. Okay, I'm gonna jump cut, and I'll see you after I've plowed this field. Well, guys, it turns out that even though the tractor is 4-wheel drive, we definitely don't have enough grip for this heels. So I'm going to upgrade the tires a bit to white tires with weights, hopefully. White tires and weights. That should help a lot. More engine power is not going to really matter too much, because if you put a bigger engine, it's going to be very expensive. Look at that, 22 grand. So let's just see, where does it take us to? 157. It's like 214 from 170. Yeah, it's not too big a difference, but I think this should definitely do the trick. So let's just add that. Oh yes, and I've decided to buy a workshop for the farm. So found a nice spot for it. Let me just show you where I've placed it on the farm. Right here on the corner. I think let me just start the engine. Why is it? Why can't I zoom out? There it is. So a nice spot here for the farm on this nice flat area. No need to do too much of a ground changes. So use the natural things that's available. Great. So obviously now that we've modified, we have to reconnect, and let's see if it makes a difference, because I'm struggling to get uphill just to get this small slope, you know. So it must be the weights and the traction. So let's see if that's better. Okay, let's have a look. It should make a difference, hopefully. In my mind it should. In real life it should definitely. But you don't know in the game. Yeah. Let's just have a look. So far it's looking very good. But when it gets to that little piece there in front, that's where it starts slipping. That's why I had to turn around there. I wish there was diff locks on these things. If you have diff locks, it will lock all your wheels and you get much better traction. But yeah, it's definitely better, guys, with weights and everything. So go for that with weights. Nice. Alright, I'm going to carry on plowing, and then I'll see you in a bit. Well guys, here we are. The field is done, or the first field. And as you can see, I've plowed out quite a substantial amount of rocks. So our next job will obviously be to buy a rock picker. And yeah, I don't know if the rock picker can work with a worker. I really do hope so. Because otherwise I'm going to have to do it by hand again. Which will probably be realistic for the hard mode, you know, to work without workers, you know. But anyways, we'll have a look at that. I'm going to put this down here and then disconnect. There you go. Great. I didn't even put a weight in on front, guys. Supposed to have a weight in front on the tractor as well. If you have a heavy plow like that thing must weigh quite a bit. Anyways, guys, so let's drive up top to where the delivery spot is, and then get ourselves a rock picker and a trailer. We're going to need a trailer as well, and also maybe a front end loader to load this rocks. I hope this tractor can handle a front end loader. Something I haven't even considered, because otherwise we might need to get something else to get the rocks into the trailer. But anyways, let's have a look at our second-hand equipment. I know I've seen a trailer there. There's only 4, but I saw a trailer there that's very cheap. It's a nice one. It's 23 squares and it's only 8 grand. So I'm definitely going to go for that. Definitely going to buy that. That will be very nice. And then we also need a rock picker. Now a rock picker is something I honestly haven't used in the game, so I don't even know where to find them. I suppose they should be in their own little slot stone pickers. Here we go. 25 grand for, how wide is this thing? 2.3 meters. 40 grand for 3.8 meters. Wow, wait. All right. I'm going to probably not need this too much, because once you've picked the rocks, hopefully they stay out. I've got no idea if they come back every time you plow, but let's go for this cheapie for now, and hopefully we can have a worker do the work, but we'll see. Go buy, go yes. Maybe I should have leased that first before, because if I have to do it, I'll have to buy a bigger one, you know. So let us have a look at this rock picker that we've just bought. Yeah, and the terrain is rough, guys. Really rough up here in the mountains. But it's nice, it's realistic, you know. When you buy a farm, nothing is easy. So hopefully now I can start here at this end and put the worker to work. Oh, it really looks like it's going to work like that. I'm so happy. It's one thing I honestly did not want to do myself is what's going on here? Oh, I see. What's going on? He's doing the... It's because the field isn't straight. Oh, it's the field lines. You see, it's again the field corners that is obviously not going. But anyways, he can now go about and pick all the rocks for us. And then once he's finished picking all the rocks, we will chuck them in the trailer. I'm excited to see how that works and how many rocks you need to fill up the holes, because I don't know if I've made that holes a bit big. I might make them a bit smaller. They don't have to be that deep, but I'll quickly do that before I release the map. It's definitely something that I'm going to change. And I saw one or two or few of the trees I've put across the road. For some reason they are a bit deep in the ground, so we will definitely have a look at that too, to make them maybe just a bit elevated off the ground so you can cut them easily. Okay. It also might be a good tip, guys, to take away from this video, is to plow your fields to align to these contours of the, that's the word, contours, with the field angles, because this field now is not aligned to the that field rows, or the rows rather. If you plow it to be squared to or perpendicular to the rows, then you will have much better a much better square field for the workers to work on, you know. So yeah, there's the tip there. I'm sure it will help us all, you know. Well guys, I had a quick look around on the farm. We've got this fair amount of big long straight trees here on the farm. There's not too many, but I'm sure there's a fair amount of money that we can make from these trees by cutting them down and then replanting with some, sorry, this is the wind blowing, a door closed. Yeah, so I'm going to go the more sensible route than trying to, the one way, obviously the cheaper way, the more work way, is to take this tree. I've cut down one and just cleaned it up with the chainsaw, and now you can cut it into pieces and then manually load with a forklift or a grapple onto a truck or a long trailer, and cart them all down to the sawmill, which is down in the valley. Yeah, I'm going to go the long way. I'm going to lease the proper foresting tools, that nice tree cutter. I'm going to lease that, and I'm going to look at the amount that you need, just to give you an idea. If you lease one of these boys, it's going to be 20 plus grand to lease. So it's going to cost you, and that's per day. So you better per work day, a total will be 22 grand for a day. So you need to weigh up the cost, and then also you're going to need one of these nice trucks to obviously cart it around, and that's going to be if you lease that, it's another 11. So you're going to have to get more than 33 grand back, which I think we will probably easily do that with only 4 or 5 trees, maybe 5 big trees. Call it 6 big trees, and you've got that. And we've got way more than 6 big trees on this property. I mean, just this area alone here, this corner has got 6 trees. So all the rest is a profit that we can put in the bank. Right, and our rock picker is almost done with the field. And there's not too many rocks coming out of the field. I've never picked the rocks, but if we jump in there now, it's like 540 liters of rock that came off this field. So it's very little rock that came out. So I've obviously bought a trailer, and I also bought a little skid steer for the farm, which will be handy if you want to load stuff up. This little one here with a bucket to load up the rock and that, and other stuff that we need to cart around and whatever. So yeah, just small investments to get the farm going nicely. But yeah, let's take it from there. So I'm going to lease the equipment and start cutting trees and see where we end. Hopefully it's not in debt. Well guys, you won't believe it, but this whole load of wood that I've got here is all from just this few trees that were standing here on the edge of the field. I think there's about 5 or 6 trees. So I'm just finishing up offloading them all, and it's a whole load of wood. I've hired a trailer, and I've bought the dolly just to to be able to load all of this. So yeah, now we're going to drive down to the sawmill and have a look at how on earth this is going to pan out, and if we're going to make money or not. This will determine it. So I'm just going to obviously strap it down everywhere and make sure we don't lose any of the woodies along the road. That will be tragic. So yeah, don't bother, guys, with renting the what do you call those things, the forestry trucks to cart them. They are useless because these things, for instance, they only got like a 4-meter bed here, four maybe 5 meters, and you won't get enough wood if you saw your wood into that shorter thing. Rather go into the trailers and then into forestry equipment. There you find this nice trailer that's 12 meters long, and you can cut your wood 12 meters. You get much better price for your wood then, as compared to if you would have done it into small pieces, you know. Yeah, rather go for that. Just want to quickly finish up tying down. We can put one more in here just to be sure. Right, I think we're safe and sound, to say the least. Sure we'll be able to drive nicely now. So I'll meet you down at the sawmill and we'll have a look. Well guys, here we are at the sawmill. It was very sketchy coming down the mountain with this heavy load. I jackknifed almost a few times, you know, and yeah, going slow is the only way to do it. So let us see. I just want to see 28 grand, guys, for one load. How's that for a bargain? That's what I'm saying, you know. If it was shorter logs, it would have been at least maybe half that, you know. So there you have it. For a few minutes of work, or maybe a half an hour's of work, you get 28 grand. It's almost 30,000 bucks. So there you have it. I've made all the money that I've spent on leasing equipment in one load. So, and it's only those 5 trees. I think it was 5, maybe 6 trees that I can actually count the stumps there where they were, because I haven't removed the stumps. And then we can have a look for 28 grand, and that was not bad at all. So if you harvest a lot or maybe most of the trees, you can replant what you have taken, and that way you can harvest again in a few years, you know, which is awesome. Guys, there are places like here where the road has been damaged and the bridges and stuff is totally washed away. So I would suggest yeah, to first fix the roads and build new bridges and stuff where needed, or just do the landscaping as needed and fix the roads properly, because it is sketchy to drive down here. And places like this where there's holes in the road, you have to just make a U-turn past them, you know, just to be safe. But anyways, we'll get there. It's much easier with a tractor than with a truck. Now believe me, a truck will struggle up here unless you've got one of those forestry trucks that can tow a trailer, you know, with the big wheels, the 6-wheel drive stuff. But the tractor is nice. I knew that the tractor and a dolly and the trailer will go out here easy, although it's slow going, but you'll get there. Like here, guys, it is steep up here, and I mean it is terribly steep. Apart from that, the camber of the road is also wrong. All stuff that needs to be sorted, and the road some places is indrivable. So all of that needs to be sorted before you attempt going over this with the big heavy load. You can actually probably, like I've done when I came down, you drive in spots where it's very level, but you're going slow, especially back uphill. Some places you almost go to a standstill because of the steep terrain. But that's fun, guys. That's what makes it all fun. Here you can see, guys, it's 7 trees that I've cut down, and those 7 trees gave like almost $30,000, which is awesome, man. And there's plenty more to cut. So you can imagine if you just cut those 3 in the back, which is on our property, you will definitely end up with maybe $500,000, maybe $750,000 in wood. And then if you replant them, it will really generate a lot of money, you know, in a few years, and you can recut the trees. Good. Just another tip, guys, cut all the trees, no matter if they're big or small, because these initial trees that's on the maps, because they're stages, they don't grow. So once you've cut down, you can replant, and the ones you replant will grow to fully grown trees. So you actually get a better yield on your self-planted trees for the next trip. And then what I like to do is I'm just explaining to you what I'm doing. You obviously do what you need to do, but what I'm doing is I just cut them and I pull them out of the forest. I don't cut them in this or chop them up in the same spot. I just pull them back and then try and get them all in the same area for loading, you know, which at the end of the day, if you have a sort of a stack here and there, it's easier to load up. So I'm just going to lift it up a bit and then chop it, and it's much easier if they're all lying bundles, you know, makes life easy, especially you don't want to struggle loading wood. And that's basically what I do, just keep on chopping, cutting down. I forgot that small one there, I'll come back to it. Just keep on zipping them down and carting them out, because this machine is very flexible. It's very nice to get stuff out of the forest. Just like that, lift it up a bit and then pull it. It's like your own tow truck. You're towing them out of the forest up to a spot where you can make. And then what I do is, if the heap becomes a bit too unmanageable, I'll just make a new heap, you know, start a new fresh one. Like now I'm already too high, so my angle is already wrong for this heap, so I'll just make another heap on the next tree. Oh my word, that's a first. Never seen that happen before. It pushed into the ground. Okay, maybe I was just a bit too high for that. Good. I'm not going to cut all the trees, I'm just cutting a few, because I wanted to just see how profitable it is and show you that you can make a lot of money. Because if I have to cut down all these forests on the ground, like I said, you will make a real heap of money. So I'll cut a few more trees just for a buffer of money, and then I can cut that anytime to the sawmill. Well guys, I've had so much fun. Before I knew it, I cut down the whole forest. It was so quick and easy. These machines are really amazing. I mean, once you've got the hang of it, it's so simple and easy. You can really motor through a forest like crazy. I mean, it took me anything but 20 minutes and I've really managed to cut down this whole forest. Great stuff. So I'm going to leave this pile of wood for carting away. I'll do that in time, but we all know how profitable the wood is for making some bucks off the ground, and it's for free. Not really for free, but I mean, you've seen now, seven trees gives like almost 30 grand. So there's a lot of trees that I've cut off now, probably about 20 maybe. Yeah, so there's another 70 grand or what lying down here. Maybe 80, 90 grand lying here on the floor, on the ground. Good stuff. Great, man, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna carry on. I'll see you in a bit. Guys, it's totally so much easier loading these things by hand. You know, I remember in the old days, my dad and myself and my brother, we were the three guys. I only have a brother, you know. Um, actually, I have a sister as well, but I mean, we're only three kids. So ladies don't really do this type of work, but I remember in the old days, my dad and myself and my boot, we used to go cut trees in the forest with a chainsaw, and then the two of us, or the three of us rather, and yeah, a whole days of work normally ends up in a huge truck full of wood, and it's all manually done. You load them by hand. There's no equipment. It's just the chainsaws, the best piece of equipment or biggest piece of equipment we had, and then the truck. So yeah, a whole days of work, cutting raw trees out of the forest and carting them by hand, pulling them and whatever up to the truck, and then cutting off all the branches, pulling off the bark. It is a huge job, but I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, you've got a truck full of wood for virtually nothing, because the labor is free. You did it yourself, and it's so much fun always to just go to the forest and load wood, you know, or cut wood and bring it out of the forest. But anyways, while I'm loading this, I thought, yeah, I have to just share that with you guys, you know. So it seems unrealistic in the game to carry wood like this, because it probably is. You can't pick up a stump on the end and carry it around, but it's just for all intents and purposes in game to make it easier. That's the best way to do it, you know. You can now go and rent one of those little trucks with a crane. Oh my word, but those things are so tedious to work with, you know, whereby loading it by hand, it's faster, more efficient, and it's fun. So rather do it that way, guys, or this way. It is, I just pick up a stump on the end, and then with my middle button I swing it so that it's sort of level, and then I keep it like that, and I align myself with the end of the truck and just walk forward until I'm close enough, and then whoop, I drop it. Now this one I drop too far, or too close rather, so all I do is I'll walk in a bit and drop it again with the left button. You pick up and you drop with the left button. Don't put the right button, because the right button throws. But anyway, it's loads of fun, guys. So yeah, like I say, to go for it. Well guys, I'm going to try and stack one more up there, just here in that gap there. So hopefully it will fit, but I think the trailer is now full. But I want to try and fit a nice big one up there. This one should do. Just leave it like that. Great, and then we've got another load to cart down, all safe and sound, slowly down the hill. It's a long process. You have to go slow. I drive like 20 k's an hour down there, slow, one bit at a time, you know. Yep, it's definitely gonna fit. So just gonna push that in like that. Very nice. Wow, good. That's a good load. So I'm gonna strap it up. Mind you, I can use the auto strap, which makes easy, but I'll see you guys down at the sawmill. Well guys, I must be honest, it is scary coming down that steep hills with this massive trailer full of wood. And I know in real life you would really need a huge heavy tractor to do that. Anyways, let's see how much we've got this time. 36 grand. What a pleasure, guys, what a pleasure. It's like money for nothing, you know. I mean, this thing was there on the ground. We just cut them with a bit of help of that nice forest tools. You can do it by hand, obviously, with this chainsaw, but it's so much more difficult to judge the lengths and all that stuff, you know. So yeah. Well guys, I think that's about that for this video. I thought I'll just tickle your fancy a bit and share a bit of gameplay on the Wild, my latest map, or my new map for FS22, and hopefully in a week's time it will be out. There's a lot of things that I've already picked up that needs to change, need to be fixed up a bit, and then the guys that does my testing is busy doing that hopefully too, and then soon enough we will have a nice map for you guys to enjoy. Have a wonderful day, guys. thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time, remember to like and subscribe. Really do appreciate that. And do consider becoming a patron, because if you were a patron, then at this time you would be playing the first release or the first version of the Wild, as my patrons are all enjoying that at the moment. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bless you. Take care, man. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.